Hey everyone, Ryan here, and welcome to my review of the LEGO Star Wars 40658 Millennium Falcon Holiday Diorama. It has 282 pieces with 5 minifigures included, and it's $30 in the US, which is actually $5 cheaper than I would have expected something like this to cost nowadays. So right off the bat, the value just might be there for your money. Opening up the box, you'll find 3 numbered bags, 1 non-numbered bag, and an instruction manual. Unfortunately, there's just nothing extra festive here. The first 3 characters in the set, I honestly do not really care for here. It's Chewbacca, BB-8, and a Porg. And these are the exact same versions that we have seen over the course of the past decade. Like, there's just nothing exciting about having these in a $30 set. They've all been in cheap sets before. Of course, the standard thing to say is it's nice for people that missed out, but I feel like you can say that about anything, anytime. The real pro here is the Porg and BB-8 are still just as cute as they were the day they came out. I'm just not quite sure why the Porg wasn't done in the holiday color scheme that they did for the advent calendar a few years back. Now, the other 2 figures in the set are a bit more exciting with Rey and Finn. The printing feels a little bit bland on Rey with absolutely no leg printing on the white pants, and shouldn't she know nobody wears white pants after Labor Day? Jokes aside, both of these characters have unique Christmas sweater torsos, Rey with the Millennium Falcon and Finn with the Rebel logo. I think it is really neat to see more kind of Christmas holiday themed characters here. You'll also see both characters have dual-sided faces, which is pretty standard for LEGO Star Wars at this point, outside of like clone troopers and anyone that's bald. But I think the biggest controversy with this set, and controversy is probably not the right word because not enough people care to be a real controversy, but they gave Rey a green lightsaber, even though at the end of episode 9 it was discovered obviously that she has now a yellow lightsaber, and so her lightsaber undoubtedly in this set should have been in a translucent yellow color. And it turns out LEGO kind of did a half measure here where they did not use the regular LEGO lightsaber green that they have been using. You can see Rey's green lightsaber next to Sabine's green lightsaber, and Rey definitely uses a lighter color of green, but at the end of the day it's still not the yellow that I think many people would have been hoping for in a set like this. I mean, why do the half measure when you could have gone all the way and then you wouldn't have anyone complain at all? So the full 5 characters is pretty nice here in a $30 set, and they'll fill out your build nicely, which we're going to take a look at now. Starting out, the first thing you notice on this diorama is that the base is nowhere near the level of plinth that we see on our other LEGO Star Wars diorama sets. This one is distinct in that it's not a rectangle or square, and it's obviously less than half the price of all the other diorama sets. So it turns out the base is where they did a lot of cutting back. Now, that's not to say we have a bad base on this set. In fact, it's plenty sturdy, and it's completely covered with black plates and tiles, which make it look really nice. It uses some grill pieces, and there are just some empty slots, so you're going to see a little bit of dark gray peeking through, which gives it a little bit of depth that I definitely like. But overall, the base and flooring area is very sturdy and actually like a highlight to this set, as lame as that sounds, because it's actually so well built. All the different studs throughout give you really good options for where to place your minifigures, so we can plop BB-8 down on one there. Now, the table included is in a very nice Christmassy red and white color scheme. You've got a carrot, you've got an empty cup, but most interesting to me is something that I don't think I've ever owned, and that's the Lego turkey. There is no connection to the bottom. It's actually just loosely placed on there, which is interesting to say the least, but you pull the whole thing off and it's just kind of standalone. It can fall off kind of easily, but it's definitely a unique LEGO item that I would wager to say we will never see in a LEGO Star Wars set again. I'm surprised we even saw it once here. I just realized it might not be a turkey. It might actually be a Porg. For what it's worth, LEGO.com says it's a turkey, but I choose to believe otherwise. Behind there, we have a beautiful seating section that also includes a table to represent hollow chests, and you can see a stud there. That's just so you can barely sit a minifigure on the edge of, I guess, what we'll call the couch there. And with the figure on there, it actually fits really nicely with Finn, and obviously you could put Rey on the other side if you wanted. My favorite part of this, though, is just the curvature of it. I think it looks really nice. Now, the sleeping quarters behind that have a really fancy, I guess what I'll call a bezel, but I just really like the shaping that they have going around it. It really matches what you have inside of there. It doesn't look as clean on the more accessible backside, but you do discover the Jedi sacred text. It's a printed piece and a phenomenal detail to see in a set this cheap, and something that you would think is like a throwaway LEGO Star Wars set to them. They actually went this far and included the sacred text for the Jedi. Like, that's awesome. Inside there is nothing. Like, it's just completely blank, which is a little bit sad. I wish they could have done some sort of like Easter egg thing in here, but they did nothing. It's just blank. But this on its own is cool enough. Placing Rey or any other Jedi inside of the diorama is simple enough. However, there are no studs, so they can fall out kind of easily when you go to move the diorama. Like, they literally aren't attached to anything, obviously, so that's a bit of a problem if you go to move the set. Now, below all that, you'll find a pair of clips where you can attach the lightsabers in. It's a bit of a tight fit in there, but they definitely do fit. And you don't always get such nice storage space on sets, so it's nice to see that it was thought through here, and it gives you plenty of space to store the lightsabers. Lastly, before we talk about all the Christmas-specific decor, we have to talk about the doorway here, which looks awesome. I mean, they've got the shape of this thing and the coloring down with the different tan pads all throughout. I think it looks amazing here, and it gives you a real nice eye into the room. Or if you wanted to like expand the build, I think it definitely gives you the ability to go and do that. And I think it would be interesting to see some people that have a better mind than I for that to expand this build and create more of a Millennium Falcon interior, whether it be festive or not. It definitely leaves the door open. Now for the holiday specific decor, we have this strand of lights that goes across the top of the Falcon in blue, yellow, green, and red, and it definitely adds a nice bit of color up here. And it's also in a nice rubber that it's strong enough to not fall down. You can see it's being held up pretty strongly here where it doesn't sag a whole lot like maybe a regular Lego string might. It's got a nice strong feeling to it. There's one giant snowflake kind of stuck onto the back of the build, and then they use that same snowflake piece atop the Christmas tree here. But to me, what's most interesting about this tree is that it's very two-dimensional. You can see the shape from the front on is actually pretty good, made with 3 of these Lego leaf pieces, but when you turn it to the side, you see it's just a very flat Christmas tree. So it's a cool tree. It's just a very two-dimensional one, just an interesting way to do it. And then finally, Lego included mistletoe above the doorway here. I'm not quite sure what the implication is supposed to be. I think this set is worth the $30, and I would give it basically a 9 out of 10 on its own merits, but I think that whether or not you should personally buy this really comes down to whether or not you like the sequel trilogy. Rey, Finn, BB-8, and the Porg are definitely tied solely to the sequel trilogy, and wanting those characters would mean you have to like those movies. Why not make it an original trilogy Millennium Falcon with original trilogy characters instead of sequel trilogy characters? I just don't quite understand that part about this set, you know? I really hope this becomes a yearly thing where Lego Star Wars does a unique holiday set, be it another Millennium Falcon interior or ideally different things each year, but I think there is a lot of potential with stuff like this for the future. So let me know what you think Lego Star Wars should make in the future for another holiday set. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and you can check out every Lego Star Wars 2023 set review on the end screen now.